Hey, it's Lewis Michael. Thanks for listening. Are you a creator that would like to reach out to our fans with a custom ad? As a comic book artist and podcaster myself, Geeking Around Podcast is here to help other creators advertise their projects. Not only will you get a audio and video ad, you will get a social media ad campaign as well. Click on the Fiverr Fiverr link in the description. Start advertising today. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Geeking Around. I'm Lewis Michael. Make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. Check out the links in the description for some cool stuff, like a link to my webcomic Kira, a Star Wars story, which I started posting on Webtoons. It is completed on Tapas, so you don't want to wait every week for a new episode. You just read it all there, but make sure to check it out and subscribe to it on Webtoons if you do have Webtoons. And I'm still working on the sequel to that, and hopefully start posting that very soon. It will be a web novel, but then we put it as a webcomic. Be pretty cool. Also, there's a link to the Geek Around t-shirts and stuff. There's a lot of stuff to go over with the Disney Plus Day celebration. I didn't even know what that was when I just started seeing people posting on social media about it, and it's like, wait, what? There was a celebration? What's going on? Wait, there was a Moon Knight trailer? What? So I've been so busy lately, I don't even know what's going on anymore. So let's get into it. So there's a bunch of stuff that they announced that I really don't care about. Okay, here's the first one. Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers. This was a fun TV show back in the day that I grew up watching, but I did hear that they will also announced a Darkwing Duck reboot series, but I haven't really seen any actual announcement. I just saw that people was talking about it. I think these guys are gonna be good voice actors for it, or if they are, I didn't really look into it very much. It is gonna be a hybrid live action CGI, kind of like Space Jam, Who Framed Roger Rabbit and stuff. I never really cared for a lot of that stuff. Like, I don't see why Chip 'n Dale needs to be, or no, it's not gonna be like that. It's gonna be more like Alvin and the Chipmunks probably, which I think is stupid. The Pikachu detective thing, that was just stupid. I hope this does mean that we do get a Darkwing Duck series. That'd be cool, because I was a huge fan of that. The Beatles get back. This is a documentary, that time when they played up on the roof of some building, I'm not quite sure. Like, no one knew what was going on, and they just started having a concert there for free. And I always like watching music documentaries, especially if they do go into how a lot of the albums and the songs and stuff was being made. So I hope we get some in-depth stuff with that. I started watching that on Hulu. Had Paul McCartney and producer Rick Rubin, and they was going on how the Beatles recorded those stuff, and pretty cool. I love stuff like that. Again, a bunch of stuff and I don't really care about. Hocus Pocus 2. Again, as a kid of the 90s, this is one of those Halloween movies that you gotta watch every year, that everyone loves, and it was such a fun, great movie. And Wobos. Yep, Wobos, or whatever she said. But great to see that all the original actors are coming back, and that is awesome. It always sucks when they do stuff like this, and a lot of times you can't get all the actors back, and it seems like they got almost everyone back for this, so that is great. Pinocchio, really don't care, really, but I did saw on YouTube a trailer for a Pinocchio game that's a lot like Dark Souls, so I just want to add that in there. It looked kind of cool. And I have to admit that the Proud Family, the TV shows back in the day, was actually really good, and I loved it. So this might actually be pretty good. The Spider-Man Chronicles, I actually never watched that movie, even though I was told by a whole bunch of friends that it was great. Me being a big fan of like fantasy movies that I should have watched and I never did, so maybe now that there's a new series coming out, maybe I can watch it and get into it. And which I hope, because this having that fantasy thing to it, I hope that the Dark Crystal from Netflix and Age of Resistance, that Disney will pick it up, because I'm pretty sure Disney owns the Jim Henson company. So I hope, like, with them doing so many different fantasy series like this and others, that they might do that as well. Though I hope they keep the darkness, that dark tone to the Dark Crystal like Netflix did have. Because that was such a great series, but now they cancel it, bastards. And that's why I don't pay for Netflix. But someone else pays for Netflix, so I still occasionally watch it. Baymax, or I always call it Betamax. I actually am a huge fan of Big Hero 6. I loved it. There's nothing I hate about it. I loved every single thing about it, and I actually liked the 2D cartoon series that was on Disney Channel, and which is now on Disney Plus. And so this is awesome, seeing that there's another series coming out. That's something I'm going to definitely check out. Zootopia was a good movie, so this might be something to be looking to. But there's going to be a musical based on Princess and the Frog, which was a great film, but a lot of people didn't watch it. It came out at a time where every other studio was doing the CG 3D animation and was done with the 2D animation. The Princess and the Frog was great. It's just sad to see that it didn't do as good, and that's why they don't do 2D anymore on major films. So Hawkeye, I am very interested in this. I love Hawkeye. It just seems too Marvel. Watching the trailers, and I rewatched it yesterday, and it would just so force itself to be funny, and scenes where it really shouldn't be funny, or was no need for it to be funny. It's Marvel, so they had to put some pointless, useless joke into it. So I really hope that it does good. Moon Knight. Now this the one thing that I'm very excited about for the live action Marvel movies. I think Oscar Isaac gonna be great. I was kind of worried about, because he been in a lot of action movies, but never really hand-to-hand combat action or anything like that. But we've seen some behind-the-scene footage of him actually fighting and training and stuff. So I think he's gonna be great. I mean, a wonderful actor. Watch my previous video, Dune, where I talk about how great he is. And so I think this is gonna be great. Again, kind of like with the Hawkeye, I just hope they don't put a bunch of stupid jokes in and try and make it funny. I hope this is as serious and dark as it can be. I mean, I know it's Disney Plus and probably really more aimed to kids, but I just really hope that, because Moon Knight, and it's not necessarily true, but to most people, Moon Knight is like the Marvel version of Batman. And can you really see Batman movies having a lot of jokes in it and being funny and stuff? No, come on. Come on. So I really hope they do good with this. Like I said, Oscar Isaac gonna be great at it. She-Hulk, I never really cared about She-Hulk. I actually never really cared about Hulk. Even the comics and stuff, the movies, I never really thought it was all that great. Miss Marvel, I don't really care. Echo, now I am kind of interested because how it is related to Hawkeye, and she's typically a like a sidekick to Daredevil, and plus she supposed to be like one of the few like Native American superheroes out there in the comics. So, and I'm part Native American, so that's kind of cool. But it didn't really say much about it. Ironheart, I could care less. Athaga, I think I can pronounce it. I loved her character in WandaVision. I'm not sure we need a series, but check it out. You know, I didn't think WandaVision was going to be all that great, and it ended up being, well, besides the ending, ended up being great. Secret Invasion. You're gonna have Samuel Jackson in it. This was not a very popular comic book series. You know, it wasn't as big as like the Dark Phoenix saga and the Infinity War saga, but it still was pretty interesting, pretty good. And is this gonna be just a Disney Plus series or something? I don't think it really is saying. Okay, yeah, it is. But yeah, I think this is gonna be a great way to introduce some of the like X-Men, because some of the X-Men are in here, and the Fantastic Four people was in the comic, so it might be a good way to start introducing those characters into the MCU. And come on, I got Samuel Jackson, so we got at least check it out. And this one was a big surprise, and I can't wait to see an X-Men 97, a reboot TV series, a cartoon series of the old one from the 90s. You know, the X-Men, the animated series, Spider-Man, the animated series, Batman, the animated series, all those animated series, superheroes, shows back in the 90s and stuff, what got me into comic books and got me into doing this right now, you know, into creating comic books and making a podcast about comic books and stuff. So I think this would be they keep it with the same style, and because like those cartoons back in the days were very mature and was very more adult oriented. And it's not necessarily just aimed at little kids, it was aimed at anyone who was into comic books. And I think they do it justice and do it well. I think you're gonna see another big boom of, you know, comic book generation coming out of it. So hopefully this is great. I'm definitely gonna be watching that. What If season 2? I actually enjoy this series, especially those ones with Ultron and stuff, and the episode of Doctor Strange. I really loved that, and the zombie ones. Like, they was actually pretty good, and the animation wasn't the greatest, but some of them was very good, and I think they did very well with this series. I was actually surprised how well it was. So I'm looking forward to season 2. Spider-Man freshman year, they didn't say much about this. I guess it's just a way to introduce him into the MCU. Probably a new Spider-Man, I'm guessing. Not like the Tom Holland Peter Parker. Well, I guess it is Peter Parker. Huh. Yeah, I don't know. This one I'm just afraid they gonna do something that gonna piss a lot of people off. Iron Groot, I don't care. I was not a fan of the Guardians of the Galaxy. Marvel Zombies, I think this is gonna be kind of cool. Maybe it's tied to the one episode from What If, where everyone's a zombie and stuff, so that might be cool. And I don't think we really got much info about it. Might check it out. Willow, this was a awesome fantasy movie back in the day, back in the 1980s. Warwick Davis, and so hopefully, and like I was saying with Dark Crystal, that this will be an awesome series, and hopefully they do justice to the original, kind of like how Netflix did do with the Dark Crystal. And so it didn't tell much about what the series is gonna be. I guess it is a sequel and not a prequel like the Dark Crystal was, but yeah, they didn't tell much about it. So, but still, I love the movie. I grew up watching that as a kid, and I love all those 80s and 90s fantasy movies that came out. Obi-Wan, we got a little, behind the scenes stuff, an exclusive look, and some concept art. I love the fact that they had Deborah Chow from The Mandalorian. She was one of the directors from Mandalorian, and I think her episodes were some of the best episodes in The Mandalorian. So that's awesome that she is coming to do the whole series of Obi-Wan. And you got Ewan McGregor coming back as Obi-Wan, and you got Hayden Christensen coming back as Darth Vader. It's going to be awesome. At least I hope it is. It did show a concept art of Obi-Wan and Vader fighting, so the rematch of the century. Under the Helmet, The Legacy of Boba Fett. I haven't watched this one yet. I was trying to watch all the other stuff, but yeah, I'm not quite sure what it was. I think it's just kind of a little documentary about Boba Fett and stuff. I don't think it was anything about the actual, like, the book of Boba Fett, the upcoming TV series that's gonna be coming out. Which I think it's cool that they got Robert Rodriguez directing it. Cause that episode, like, when I watched that episode where Boba Fett came in and he just beat the hell out of those guys, like, you can just tell that there was a different style to it from all the other episodes. And it's like, man, this kind of like a Robert Rodriguez movie. That's kind of like his techniques and stuff. And then his name popped up in the credits. Like, oh crap! I was like, that's so cool. Gotta get Quentin Tarantino next time on season 3. So I think all the other stuff is just a bunch of documentaries, and I don't really care about. Yeah. So yeah, there's some very interesting things that they did announce. Again, it was very disappointing that nothing was really coming out super quick. And it's still like a year or two off, or didn't have a date for it. But yeah, some of these stuff I'm very excited about, and really hope that they do good on it. And I did watch Shang-Chi, The Legend of the Ten Rings last night of recording this, and I enjoyed it. I think it was a decent, martial art movie and stuff, and I'm glad that they didn't go too far with the jokes and stuff. It was mainly just the chick that plays Katie. I can't remember her name now, but it was mainly just her making the jokes with a few here and there of other people, but for the most part it was pretty serious, and it was your typical superhero movie. There was nothing too groundbreaking with it. I did feel like some parts of the fight scenes they used CGI, where Jackie Chan did the exact same move in the Drunken Master back in, what that was, the 70s when he made that, and they didn't use CGI then. So, but it was a pretty decent movie, and I really enjoyed it. And also did finish the other week, finally finished watching The Bad Batch, and I have to say, like, The Bad Batch, like, story wise and stuff, it wasn't nothing great or anything, but like some of those scenes, like, was actually very good. Like, they was beautifully created and animated. I think the animation got a lot better than what the original series was, the Clone Wars, and of course the last season, was it season 8 or season 7 or 8? I can't remember now, which had a lot better animation as well. Yeah, that's all. I wanted to do a quick run through a lot as what was announced and stuff. Like I said, there's some pretty good stuff, and some that we might have to wait to see to really, get an actual opinion on it. I mean, you should do that with anything, but sometimes you just, after all this time, it's hard to stay excited for a lot of this stuff when they keep ruining everything. So that's it for this episode. Make sure to like and subscribe before you leave, and check out those links again, and we see you next time. Bye.